What's going on, guys? J and 4GO. Just want to talk about some thoughts about the 10-meter contest, ARRL 10-meter contest. I put about 6.5 hours in, roughly. I'm not sure how accurate N1MM is on keeping time, but that's just kind of what I use to keep time. Some big takeaways for me during this contest was that I want to make this so I kind of look back on it next year. If I operate from here next year, I should have went down to the contest station and ran with those guys, but I had a sick kid, and I was worried about some of the guys there are high risk, you know, so they've been through treatments and stuff, and I didn't want to expose them to strep throat and things like that. But number one, 10-meter contest, it's all about the antenna. I've got a Mosley TA-33 here, and it is about 32 feet, just barely above the roof line. And by barely, I mean like a foot or two. But it's off the back of the house. So for a while now, I've been using the Mosley to chase soda, and if you chase soda, guys, you kind of know that, you know, that's some weak signal stuff, man. It's not like chasing POTA. All right, these guys they're all QRP, and most of the time, you know, ideally being up on a mountain, you know, they should be louder, right? But they never are unless they're QRO or something, you know. So anyway, I've been noticing with the Mosley that 10 and 15 meters is mediocre at best on this antenna. So I feel like a simple flat top dipole at 50 feet would be much better than this beam. I don't really know why it's not performing like I want it to, because I ran high power, and I ran most of the contests. I ran anywhere from 700 to 900 watts. You know, that's a lot of power going out into a 3-element beam, right? But I tended to compare my signals with other people out here on YouTube that are streaming also, or, you know, maybe doing that. So guys on the West Coast, they have a late opportunity into Asia, like into JA and China and stuff like that. They get to work the contest longer because daylight, you know, falls a couple hours later for them on the West Coast. On the East Coast, we have the opportunity to get up early and catch gray line coming in, or sunrise. Let me turn this down. So that's definitely something to do. If you want to get better scores in this particular contest, you got to get up early. And that's probably for any contest other than like the top band 160 contest. You have to be up at the crack of dawn and fresh. And I think I got in there late on Saturday morning at like 9 or 9:30 or something like that. And I fell asleep just for a few hours, because I'm generally a night owl anyway with sleep issues. But my brain was so cloudy. You could probably tell in my videos my decoding ability was not all there yet. It takes me when I first wake up, I don't drink coffee or anything, so it takes my brain a little while to get going. So the solar flux all weekend was like 125. So I know we're supposed to have this big tremendous solar cycle 25, and this is, you know, supposed to be the bee's knees and everything, but 125 is pretty sorry. You know, that's solar minimal. We were what, at 70? So but I mean, other than that, the bands are in pretty good shape. I just need to engage and compete in these competitions. You have to be at a at a place with a good antenna, you know, and I don't have that here. I just have a mediocre station, but for guys that are running, you know, elevated verticals or nice tri-banders at 50, 60 feet, you know, like a Momo beam, like a T10 or the mid-tri by JK antennas or Force 12. Once you get up that height and you don't have traps or any loss or any of that crap, you know, that comes along with trap, you know, beams like this Mosley or like an A3S or something. It's, you know, I guess they have their part, but if I'd have known now what I known then, I wouldn't have put the Mosley up, you know what I mean? So it does okay on 20, which is really weird because it's a wavelength off the ground on 20, but you know, you'd figure it'd do better on 10 and 15, but it doesn't for some reason. But key factors, again, for any contest, get up early, get on early. If you're a night owl like me, you just gotta suck it up and stay awake. Multipliers, I like to make the mistake of jumping in the multiplier chasing category with some of the guys, and they're just huge pileups, right? Chasing these multipliers. It's better to chase them on the second day if you can. If you can run the first day, I think it's good, but the second day, if you can just pounce mults as many as you can, that'll make a big difference. And just hope for band conditions, you know. But I got a little bigger amp, the 922A. It does, what, about 1200 or so. But I don't run it that hard because I'm going to try to maintain the tubes. But power is nothing. You got to have the antenna. And an old Elmer told me that years ago. If you want to put all your money into the antenna and just get a subpar radio. And a lot of times it's just hard for us to do. I mean, we got small lots. I think I'm on like 1/3 of an acre here at the most, probably smaller, like 3/10 or something like that. So I guess I'm lucky to have the Mosley up at 32. I like to go up 42 or 45 just to get above the roof line there. But my noise levels are pretty bad most of the time. Not horrible like some people. The DX10 does a pretty good job at nulling out. You know, you can use the DSP features in it and the noise, the DNR and the notch. I always use the notch on any band just about. Usually I run up to amp 2, preamp 2 on this rig on 10 meters, and I couldn't do that this time. I don't know if it's Christmas tree lights or what, but anytime I turned toward the west, it was pretty rough. But so early mornings, especially the East Coast guys, focus on Europe. You'll get European calls, and then the band switches to more South America through the latter morning into the afternoon. It opens up to the West Coast, you know, down to Hawaii and VK and stuff like that, and up into Alaska. And I never did work a JA on 10. I heard one, but I didn't hear him enough to make the cue, so, or he couldn't hear me. And that was, I think I turned it up to a kilowatt to try to get him, but he just wasn't in there solid enough for me to get his serial number. So I didn't want to throw just any old thing in there and get penalized, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it is what it is. I guess that's why there's a limited class, right? For guys that are just running a single wire, can really benefit in that class. If you can get a 10-meter dipole up 50, 60, 70 feet in a tree, you're gonna do pretty good. You put a little QRO behind it, and I think you'll be doing pretty good. This has really got me thinking. I was talking to Mike NT6 X-ray, and he's running the JK at about 50 feet out in California, and he's doing really well. I mean, if you get a chance to check his videos out, like, I thought he was, running much larger towers, and legal limit, but he's only running like 500 watts in a JK mid-tri in urban settings. So it was cool to kind of watch his videos and check out all the JA stations. That would be awesome. I know some of the guys here down the contest station at N4SS, they got several Japan stations late in the evening, like right as dark as approaching us, right? So that's pretty cool. That's a good location, and it really makes you think about where should you buy a house if you're into radio big time. If you're into contesting or DXing or anything like that, do you settle for something where you can just maybe get like a hex beam up about 20-30 feet, or do you spend an extra 10-20 grand and get a place where you can put a 160 antenna? You can get your antennas up 50 or so feet, not any regulations other than like dealing with the city ordinances and stuff like that. But if I had to do it over again, I would have got a couple acres out in the country. Not way out in the country, but just on the outskirts of town, So I love my neighbors here, though. They've finally accepted the fact that I'm a little cuckoo when it comes to, I've got poles and spider poles and wire and everything. I'm going to get ready to put a vertical up here on the side of the house, and I've got a wire going to inverted L that's going along the side of the tower on a standoff arm, is going up the front yard and across the front yard right next to the street. So this whole place is strapped with wire antennas, so it's something I thought would work, and it fit our family at the time. So I guess I'm thankful for that. But as my kids start to get older, which they are, and they are not at home as much, then probably getting rid of this house and getting something without a lot of stairs and a little bit of land. And ultimately, antennas are the biggest part of ham radio, so, and DXing and contesting. So my dog is over here licking her paws, but she's always at my feet. Every time I'm contesting, she's sitting here next to me, like, come on, Dad, when you're gonna go upstairs and feed me? So, but anyways, I hope you guys had a good 10-meter contest. You can practice all you want, but when you get on the air and you get all that flutter from Europe early in the morning, it's hard to simulate that, you know what I mean? So if you're running Morris Shriner, definitely run the flutter, because that's kind of what it's like. But there was some pretty decent long path on 10-meter CW. I didn't do phone again. If I had to do it over again, I'm making a mental note of this for myself. Go into this contest doing phone and CW. I think the rates for running in CW in this part of the country, which is in Kentucky, is not good. But if you're running a single sideband and switching back and forth to CW, you're chasing mults on CW, chasing mults on sideband, and get a programmer, whatever you can on your rig to do the talking for you. I think that really makes a difference in your score. And if your voice goes hoarse like mine, that's why I don't do a lot of sideband contesting. The voice recorder definitely helps. I think for the Yaesu, it's like the FH4 or something like that. But anyway, if you guys have a Mosley TA-33. I'd like to hear kind of your thoughts on 10 meters. I mean, it's like okay on 15, better than 10, and it's better on 20 than it is 15 and 10 combined. So it's really odd. I've listened to some other people with similar antennas above the roof line, and their receive is so much better than mine. So I'm like, you know, I'm on a corner lot. I'm at the highest part of the neighborhood here, the farthest away from that I could get from any houses or RF or anything like that. So I don't know. It's just like something's interacting with my beam or something's not right. Maybe it's the choke. I put in a pretty massive choke, coax choke on that to kill RF, and I think I did probably too many turns on that. I think that affected 10 meters on this beam. But anyway, catch you guys soon. I guess we got CWTs, and I was looking at the contest calendar again. I don't know what's coming up, but whatever it is, we're going into contest season now. We've got ARRLDX coming up, and that's my favorite contest ever. So for CW anyway, and I may try something a little different. I may put a see if I can find a Force 12 or something like that and replace this antenna, or just take this choke completely out, because I'm running an LMR 400 all the way up to the feed point, and then it's RG8, and there's about, I'm trying to remember, I'm thinking there's about 8 turns around a piece of plastic PVC about 6 inches. So but that shouldn't make a big difference at the feed point, right? So anyways, hope you guys had fun again and had a good time. You know, that's what it's all about. Maybe cycle 25 will get better, but it can't get much worse. I mean, it's been just solar wind and solar flares, and daytime radioactivity has been pretty hot garbage here for me. So you guys may have experienced something a little better at your, you know, QTH or whatever. So thanks guys for subscribing and sticking around with me as I kind of grow in CW. And I would like to try SO2R, so I'm thinking that's going to be next, I guess. But 7.3s, guys, we'll catch it a little later this week.